Hey YouTube, anime and manga enthusiasts. This is Mega Marie coming to you with another manga review. Now, I have been reading Twittering Birds Never Fly. OMG. Now, I read this first one a while back and I was like, this is good. And then I read it and then I double back and reread it. And I had to reread it. And this is one of the few mangas where I reread it and I enjoyed it even better than the first time. It is a crime drama BL. That's the best way to describe it. And it's just very good. And I'm on the third volume. I love these covers. These covers are so beautiful and exotic and just beautifully drawn, so classy, so simple and elegant. In a kind of way, it kind of makes me think of like that, just almost like the classiness of like Chanel. I know that sounds weird, but it does. It's just that classy, exotic, the black and whites and grays. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. This is, I'd have to say, one of my absolute favorites. And this is definitely a manga collection I will never give up. It did take, at one point, kind of during kind of the heart of the pandemic, it was getting hard to get certain manga. This is one of them. Now, there is an OVA. I do have the OVA. I was very stoked to get that. And I'm going to start when, when finance is allowed, to try to get any kind of artwork pertaining to this series, because it's one of my favorite series and it's one of the most beautifully drawn series. I don't want to, let me try to find an appropriate page. Here's just one of the pages here. Just let me get a focus. There we go. Just so beautifully drawn. So beautifully drawn. The man is just so classically drawn. I love this series. I love it. And I just adore it. I can't say enough about how much I love the artwork alone. But the way it is written is so wonderful as well. So you have, and it's not just about the smut. Yeah, it's the smut. But a lot of what I've been reading here lately, the smut is just like a thin icing. The heart of the cake, rather, is just as delicious, just as flavorful as the icing. I mean, it's so much to the story and the backstory of these characters and the crime, the organization, the relationships between the different members. So just to give a little synopsis, so you have this gentleman here. He is Yashiro. He's the leader of his own little group, and he's about making paper and doing his little, his little, getting his rocks off the way he gets his rocks off. He's very promiscuous. He likes the smutty stuff. It's his lifestyle. It's what he's always been into. He's reluctant to fall in love with this gentleman here, but he does. He does in his own unique way, and he never thought that he could, but he does. And then you mix it all up with the type of the other man that falls in love with him, and the crime and the organization and the fight for different positions in this particular Yakuza organization. And it's kind of like, man, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of it's like a crime drama mixed with a romance drama. It's a whole lot of tropes all in one. And it goes at a pace that I enjoy. I mean, you see how this is a pretty thick manga for individual volumes. It has a lot of detail. You get a lot of story. If you like a detailed story, if you like a story that has a lot of depth, this is it. Now, if you just want the smut with not much story, then and you this wouldn't be the manga for you. But if you like a lot of story, if you like a lot of in depth, and even when it goes back in time, they have where it gives you backstory in between. When it goes to the backstory and then come back to the present time, it does it seamlessly. The writer, the author, the artist slash writer, this is just brilliant work to me. It's just brilliant work. Um, it's just, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I have three more volumes that I have. It's a seventh volume. I believe it stops at 7 volumes. Um, I wanted to go further, but I think that's where it stops. And I'm going to do some research into finding more stories by this author. But to me, this is a masterpiece, and I absolutely adore it. And it's something that I'll reread, and something I want to collect. And any books that this author has, I want to get more. So that's this series right here. Now I want to go into Caste Heaven. Now, Caste Heaven has got a bad rap, man. People don't really. People have. It's this mixed reviews on it. People love to hate it. I love it. I love it. Now, it's not for the faint at heart. It's not. It's definitely a series that people feel some kind of way about Cast Heaven. People feel as though this particular series is very triggering, but it pretty much gives you some insight into people finding love in very extreme circumstances and people surviving in extreme circumstances with their romance. And I think that once if you can see past that, if you're the type of person that isn't objective, if you don't have a very objective mind and you see one thing, that if you're easily triggered and you just stop and go, okay, this is all bad because this one thing makes me feel this way, then, and that's understandable. And if you can't see past that to see the bigger picture or see beyond one layer, then you're not going to appreciate this story. But oftentimes in this series, it gives an example of how people can be in a bad situation but find ways to thrive in those situations. And in this story, it shows you how these students are in a type of hierarchy where the rules of this system constantly changes people's position in this hierarchy. And then they have to find a way to have it's a dysfunctional situation, but they find a way to have love and survive with their relationships in this situation. And even their relationships are dysfunctional, but what relationship doesn't have a level of dysfunction? And these stories simply tell you the story of of this dysfunction and how they manage their dysfunction. And I can understand that and appreciate simply telling a story of it. So, and I can see the romance in it, and I can see just the story of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be good natured. Nothing in life is perfectly good natured. And I can appreciate the story of it. And I look forward to getting the next volume. There's lots of volumes out, but I have to get them when I can afford to. So I'm looking forward to the next volume that I'm going to get. I already ordered it. I just have to wait for it to get here. And I really like it. This romance is a very interesting one. I just finished it. And it's very interesting. I don't want to have any spoilers, but I love this romance. And the ending on this volume starts a new romance between two people. One guy who is a very much a preppy who ends up falling for somebody that takes him to a different side of himself and opens up a different side of himself and explores that relationship. And I'm excited about the third volume that leads into that. So I really enjoyed this volume and I'm loving this series a whole lot. This is another series that has beautiful art. And let me get a page that's appropriate. One that's, let me see. I kind of want to get, uh, yeah, this is beautiful artwork. Just beautifully drawn. Not as eloquent as the Tweeting Birds uh, Never Fly, but very beautiful for what it is, for this style, for this this age group that is being drawn. Sorry, but beautiful nonetheless. But not nearly as sophisticated. But for the type of age group, for the type of story it is, it's good. But this also brings in a character that you think it, and it shows how easily the darker side of a person can be revealed. And it is this character that comes in this volume. Oh my God, what a piece of work he turns out to be. He seems really fake and phony. And it's this, he's a teacher assistant. Oh my God, what a piece of work. And I hope that he gets his comeuppance. But that's all I'm going to say. There's a little bit of spoiler, but oh, I hope he gets his comeuppance because he ends up being such a poser. But this, there's so many twists and turns to this book, to this series. I can't wait to get volume three. 3 and 4 has been uh I got volume 3. 4 looks like it's gonna be a little tricky to get. I'm gonna have to try to get in where I get it as quickly as I can because I think it's a little scarce right now. And then I'm gonna hop on 4 and 5 as quickly as I can because some volumes kind of, you know, it gets hard to get. So I want to try to keep up on certain manga before they, go out of stock and gets hard to get. So, but yeah, I think that if you can get past the things that are kind of triggering about this story and just be more objective, you can really get into a really good suspense. But if it's not your cup of tea, if you're easily triggered, then don't even pick it up because you won't get past it, past the idea of certain things enough to enjoy it, or the certain things that trigger you can be just so triggering that it the whole overall story won't even be enjoyable because you can't get past those triggers. So If you're a slice of life type of person, then don't even pick it up. But otherwise, if you're an open-minded person and you're more objective, and me personally, I like thrillers, I like suspense, I like things that go into those things, into the deeper, darker sides of the human psyche. I like true crime, I like all that kind of stuff anyways. So I'm not easily triggered like that. But there are things, everybody has triggers, but these things in certain circumstances, they just don't trigger me. I'm more of a person that has a openness and understanding for the realities of life in a way that I it of course things horrify me, but not to the point where I feel like I need to be um sheltered away from things. It's like I can accept seeing things and having a broader understanding of things. Is I don't need to be shielded from things like that, so I can appreciate this type of work and even understand it, and even appreciate the storytelling in it, because it shows the realities of human behavior in a lot of ways, and it's an interesting thing to see when it's put in, or in work in, or in people's art in this way. So I think this is a great series. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to read the third volume. So thank you guys for tuning in. I want to start getting more frequent with this. It's just been a lot of things, uh, everyday life, but I am going to try to get more frequent, and really enjoying these mangas and making y'all some more reviews. So tune in for the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.